traumatic. Ooh, but everything is traumatic. Ooh, pew 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 pew. Yeah, and that's on this week of Living in America. Oh, baby. This okay. Oh, well, I just choked on my own spit. Welcome to Faux Pod, the podcast hosted by me, Mick McKay, where I am supposed to talk about silly little embarrassing things that happen to all of us. But it's kind of hard to do that when the nation is falling apart. And in case the mic didn't pick up my cries just there, I said it's really hard to do that in case the nation's falling apart. Um, What even the frick has been going on, you guys? I feel like every time I open up the news, it's something else, it's something really bad, and I'm getting kind of scared about where things are going. And I'm not going to talk too specifically on this because I've been seeing some scary things online about people who engage too much with this conversation in a social media format. But what I will say is I rewatched Eyes Wide Shut recently. You need to watch that. If you haven't watched that Stanley Kubrick's movie, Eyes Wide Shut, y'all gotta get on that ASAP, okay? There's some crazy shit in there that feels a little close to home right now. Um, and he died like 6 days after he finished filming that movie. Suspicious? Oui. Très, très suspicious. Anyways, what's going on, you guys? It is Valentine's Day week. And a little fact about me is I can't stand this holiday. I think it's silly. I think it's dumb. I think it places too much emphasis on expressing love for people through consumerist shit. I don't know, man. I'm not gonna even get on that topic, bro. But my husband and I, who have, before we got married, we dated for 11 years. 11 years. That whole time we only celebrated one Valentine's Day. And it was because we needed an excuse to go out and get some pasta, which I hope you do. I hope you do go get that pasta. Anyways, what else is going on this week? We're gonna be talking about love stories, okay, or more like love horror stories, embarrassing dates, love professions that went awry, big flops, and the like, you know? So we will be getting into that. I do want to also mention that it is still freaking cold in the attic. My fingers may turn stark white at some point during this filming because it's 9 degrees outside and there are icicles hanging off of my gutters that are the size of my body, ready to impale my neighbor Josh's little Shih Tzu. And I have Raynaud's, so that's why my hands might turn white. But okay. What else we got? What else we got to talk about? Wuthering Heights comes out this week. Wuthering Heights comes out February 13th. Okay. And I am going to see it. I am going to see it. I know the movie is controversial, and that is why I'm going to see it. I already know. I'm going to have a lot to say about it. I'm going to have a lot of opinions. Um, so that will be in the next episode. We will be talking Wuthering Heights and all that good shit. I'm going to summon actually the Bronte spirits into some kind of artifact, and I'll be bringing it to the theater with a Ouija board to talk to them while we watch the movie together. Um, yeah. Other things of importance. I first of all, I'm wearing these sunglasses today because the bag's under my eyes. It's not good, you guys. It's not good. I've been spending a lot of time scrolling on my little pocket devil phone thing, and it is showing on my face, and it's not good. But other than that, I am starting a new weekly feature on the pod, okay? We are going to be talking about the weekly ick, okay? The ick of the week, if you will. Yeah. The ick of the week. Those of you watching on YouTube, that was ick of the week. Um, sorry. Holy shit. If you don't have visuals for what I'm doing, it's like, it's not funny, but the ick of the week is going to look at things and such that I see in the media, okay, that I find yucky, that me no likey, me no likey that, okay? And this week, our very first ick of the week has to do with the pick me girl trend. For those of you who do not know what a pick me girl is, allow me to explain. A pick me is a term assigned to the type of individual who tries very hard to establish herself not like other girls, not like other women, not like other people. Pick-me's can be anybody, in my opinion. And I'm not gonna lie. When the pick-me girl thing first started gaining like momentum, I was like, yeah, I know people like that. I know people like that. We all have had people who like try and weasel their way into our personal relationships by like trying to appear like they're superior or like they're not basic or they're more interesting or XYZ. And it is annoying. Those people are annoying. However, I've begun to see the term pick me sliding into territory that feels just straight up misogynistic. And I'll admit it, I feel like it always has kind of been misogynistic. But I'm now seeing the term pick me being used to just like immediately like shut down or belittle people for actually being unique or being funny or being smart or speaking their mind. And like I'm seeing it used on people who in my opinion, really don't seem like they give a shit about whether people like them or not. And I feel like it's becoming one of those terms that people use when they're feeling kind of like threatened by people. And me don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like the look of that. It's just another way for women to be pit against each other. Guys, we have to stop. I think we need to cut the term pick me girl out completely and we just need to call out when someone's being an asshole. Just get back to calling people buttholes. Like, hey, that's butthole behavior. Sorry, you're being an ass. Like, can we just call them that? Can we just call them that? Just be a girl's girl. Learn what it means to be a girl's girl. Girls are the best girls. I love those. I love girls. And I think okay, what am I trying to say? What the hell am I trying to say right now? Um, I wish everybody could be a girl's girl. Unfortunately, they're not. I think people can learn to be a girl's girl. A girl's girl is a girl who puts female friendships first and foremost, or female girl to girl, girl on girl. Holy shit. Ah! It's a girl to girl relationships before anything else. They don't do any backstabbery. They don't talk behind each other's back. They help a girl out. They don't gatekeep. You're a girl's girl. You like to see other girls celebrated. I want every girl to be like that. I think it's a world of girls versus assholes. And that's just what I'm going to call it from now on. Ick of the week. People who are still using pick me. We're going to talk about some Valentine's Day stories, guys. Um, I can't believe that when I first started this, I thought that I would talk about like, I say when I first started this, like that wasn't 3 weeks ago. But my initial episode, I was like, probably read like 2 stories per episode. And today I'm reading 4. Yeah, 4 whole stories, y'all. And they're good. So lock in, get cozy, get your cup of tea or your glass of whiskey at the ready. Let's have a drink. Watch me crush this Red Bull. And let's fucking go. Okay, let's get into it. So our first story today is going to be from Anonymous Virgo, she, her, in New York, which I love, by the way, that you're using your star sign, period. I hope more people pick up on that. And Anonymous Virgo titled her story, Just Send Help. So she writes, Hey, Diva. I'll keep this one short and sweet. I met up with a guy I matched with on Hinge last year for a drink. I'm going to call him Kyle. Yeah. I'd recently been on a series of bad dates, and surprise, this one was not going great. Kyle talked the majority of the time, leaving very few moments for me to even attempt to interject with a question or whatever. And most of what he was yapping about had to do with things like crypto, ew, and Elon Musk. Ew. After he mentioned something about thinking Cybertrucks were sexy, what the fuck? I texted my friend saying, get me the fuck out of here. Only the moment after I sent it, I realized I didn't text it to my friend. I had texted it to Kyle. Kyle, who paused mid-Cybertruck sentence and saw my name and the words, get me the fuck out of here, pop up on his screen. We sat in silence for a few seconds, and in a moment of fight or flight, I grabbed my shit and quite literally ran from the bar. I gotta go. I gotta get out of here. I never saw him again. Thank God. Love, Anonymous Taurus. Girl, and that was the right move. You are actually lucky that that man did not pick up, run after you, and hunt you for sport. Because that's what I would expect out of that kind of man. Out of that kind of Kyle. You know what I'm saying? Like, the fact that you are alive today is incredible. And I bet that if you had stayed longer, I bet he would have, like, launched into some whiny, like, okay, well, whatever. You're just like all the other liberal women I know. Like, just the way you write him, it gives that, like, whiny little baby energy. Whiny little baby man, okay? That's fab, and also one of my worst fears, actually. So thank you for validating that. That is a great example of why sometimes it's better to just get yourself out of a shitty situation. Like, do the classic, I'm actually gonna go to the bathroom really quick and, like, sneak out the fucking window. Just sneak out the freaking window, girl. Or I feel like we as it's hard because, like, safety is a thing, but, like, I wish that it was more acceptable to, in the middle of a date, if it's really not going well, just be like, "Hey, I don't think you and I are gonna vibe. I think I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go," and not feel I wish we didn't have to feel, like, threatened by that, but you know, what the fuck. Okay, on to the next. Number 2. This one does not have a title, but it is from Anonymous White Man, he, him, from Chicago. Anonymous White Man writes, Hi, Mackenzie. Whoa, Christian name. Okay. Technically, this isn't a dating story, but just be patient. This will connect back to Valentine's Day later on. This was my senior year of high school on a Saturday, a few days before Valentine's Day. I was definitely not going to have a Valentine this year, so my friend and I decided that our Saturday was going to consist of taking an edible and going to our other friend's club soccer game. Wow, what a day. What a perfect day. This was probably only my second time ever taking an edible, so I just took the entire edible my friend had. not thinking about the dosage. We get to the game, and by about 20 minutes in, I am way too high for my own good. This game was an indoor field, and there was netting between us and the field. Unfortunately, depth perception was just not working in my brain, so looking at it just gave me a headache. I ended up sitting with my back to the game for the next hour or so. I'm just picturing some kid, like, in the stands with his back to the field, going, "Oh my, oh yeah, what the fuck is going on right now? I'm freaking out right now." Yeah. My friends dropped me off at my house after the game. My main focus when I got home was to run up to my room so my parents didn't see how high I was, which I successfully did, period. What I didn't notice while I was walking in, that there was a large paper grocery bag sitting on my parents' driveway. The next morning, my mom asks me, "Did one of your friends leave a bag of rotten fruit in the driveway?" I go outside and check this bag, and it did indeed have a random collection of fruit in it. It also had a note addressed to me that said, "Enjoy the fruits of my love. Happy Valentine's Day." I told all my friends about it and asked all of them if they were the ones who did it, but no one wanted to admit it. Months later, I brought it up again, and no, nobody admitted. It's been nearly a decade now since this happened, and I still have no idea who did this. Anonymous white boy from Chicago, I hate to tell you this, but I think you too were almost the victim of a crime. Like, that feels like something really wrong was about to happen to you. Like, I think it was either a horrible crime, you were being watched and about to be a part of a horrible crime, or you were so zooted off that eddy that your mind might have opened up a door to another timeline, another dimension maybe. You unlocked something, and somehow that fruit. Oh my god! Holy shit. Wait, no, you know what this is? This is a time travel plot. This is a fucking time travel plot. That bag of fruit was a sign that time travel is happening. Yeah. 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 Okay, the sci-fi novel is writing itself. Yeah. Anonymous white boy, you have some research to do. I think something huge is going to happen to you, and if not all of us, soon. And I'm scared. Great story, anonymous white boy. Love it. The next tale of this fine day is from she, they in Utah. I got a lot of Utah folk and a lot of New York folk. There's a lot of like Mormonism running through this podcast right now, ex-Mormonism. It makes sense. I live 20 minutes away from where Mormonism started. A lot of my friends are out there in Utah. Like we got a lot of connections to that Mormon country girl. A writes, "Howdy, you majestic gremlin. Adore all that you do. Period, girl. Thank you." I had to submit this because the dating experience is already a shit show, but getting to partake in that experience in Salt Lake City, Utah? Zoink. That's A's word, zoink. I'll keep it short and sweet. Basically, I decided to enter the horrific ether of Hinge and matched with this guy. He was cutie, a little dorky, a Utahn born and raised, and a biologist. A also followed up in a separate email and asked me to make sure I made clear that this individual was also an ex-Mormon. Keep it in mind. Fun! He chose the spot for our first date, which was a very rundown buffet that served rice that I'm pretty sure only got cooked by a heat lamp and never touched boiling water. Not fun. Okay, red fucking flag, dude. You want to take me on a first date to a rundown buffet? Are you kidding me? Are you going to kill me afterwards too? What the fuck? That's diabolical. That's diabolical. Illegal. Anyways, we hung out a few times and finally had a spicy session. Ooh, we're getting into the NSFW stuff, girl. Okay. During said session, as this man is quite literally inside of me, apparently in the heat of passion, he cries out a phrase. And that phrase? I have mommy issues! I laughed in a panic and went, maybe we should talk about that? Nope. That was a door he had firmly sealed and refused to acknowledge it even happened. And me, not wanting to be mommy, slinked out of the experience as quickly as my little legs could take me. Anyways, there's somebody out there. Are they in Salt Lake City? I don't know. But I'm scared out here. Okay, love you, bye! That's horrifying. All of these stories they're not even embarrassing, they're just scary. Like, I'm just afraid right now reading these, guys. I have mommy issues. Girl, what? Of all the things you could say in the peak of passion, you say that? Who are you? Girl, go to therapy. One more Valentine's Day horror story to go. Okay. This one also didn't have a subject, and it is from M, she, her, in California. California, baby. Okay. M writes, hi, Mick. So I don't know if this could be considered a dating story, but it did involve my crush in elementary school. So we're just going to rock with it. That's fine. That is okay. That is okay. Picture it. It's 2006. I'm in 4th grade. I was a shy kid on the verge of puberty and had recently developed my first crush on a boy that I'll refer to as Dylan. At the time, classmates had started expressing like for one another and dabbling in playground sweetheartry. As Valentine's Day approached, I started to feel myself toy with the idea of telling Dylan that I had a crush on him. I knew I was way too shy to do it in person and lacked the gall that it would take to look him up in the yellow pages and announce it over the phone. Thus, I hatched a plan. We all had these little cubbies in our classroom that we referred to as mailboxes. It's where our teacher would put our returned assignments, papers we had to bring home to our parents, and other things that needed to go home with us at the end of the day. These mailboxes, I decided, would be the vehicle that would allow me to profess my feelings to Dylan. That night, I went home and wrote a note that said, all caps, someone likes you. Call blacked out phone number to find out who. Oh, after a minute, I decided that it would be too risky to give him a note with my handwriting on it. Instead, I snuck into my big sister's room and swiped a pile of her old magazines and cut out the words serial killer style. What the fuck? Why is this coming back to murder? Why is this coming back to crime? What's going on? The next day, after making sure the coast was clear, I slipped the note in Dylan's mailbox as we left for recess. At home that night, I sat on the arm of the couch directly next to our landline, waiting for it to ring for me. I waited and waited and waited, and the call never came. Oh! I assumed Dylan saw my letter and threw it away. However, the next day at school, my teacher had a very serious look as we settled into our seats before our morning announcements. She looked us over, her face stony, before, to my great horror, holding up the serial killer letter I'd written to Dylan. Ah! Oh, girl. This, she started, is harassment. I'm going to ask you this one time. Who did this? The room was silent. Some kids suppressed their laughs, but I felt like I was going to piss my pants. Yeah, me too. I am an adult, my teacher went on. You are children. This kind of thing is considered very inappropriate. What the fuck was happening? I did a quick recalculation of my previous day's movements. I dared a glance over at our mailboxes and, oh dear God, realized that Dylan's mailbox was right above the mailbox where we were to put our completed assignments for our teacher to take home and grade each night. Oh, girl. I am like sweating right now. I have like cold sweats breaking out all over my body. I'm like, I feel the like fight or flight kicking in. Trying my hardest to fake a clueless face, I dissociated while my teacher continued to reprimand the class. As she ended her ranting, she ripped the paper in half, then in quarters, and angrily threw it in the trash. It was like watching my heart get ripped to shreds. I feel like I could cry. As an adult reflecting on this situation, I have. It says 2 questions, but there's 3 points. 1. Why the fuck didn't she just call the number and reprimand me over the phone? I could have at least then gotten the chance to explain in private. 2. Why didn't she look at the parent contact charts or whatever to find out whose number it was? Why did she think public ridicule would be the best route to identifying the culprit? Yeah, what the fuck? 3. Why the fuck did she rip it up and throw it away? I don't feel like she was nearly as committed to solving that mystery as the anger alluded to. And you know what? You're right. You're right. If she really wanted to find out who solved that crime, she would have gone investigator mode. But instead, she just wanted to put on a show. Girl, she just wanted to be a threat. I think she might have just been a dumbass. Is what who are you? M writes. Anyways, that was the day my attempts at boldness and my crush on Dylan both died. Love, M. Well, these were all traumatizing. Everything about this was traumatizing. Every single story was traumatizing and horrific, and I loved it. I feel like every episode, these stories are getting better, you guys, and I love it so much. Please don't stop writing into the podcast. I adore these. This is the highlight of my week. And I'm so honored that you guys even are like engaging with this at all and that I have like stories to comb through and like it just makes me so happy. I really love it. But okay. If you want to write in your story, please do write it. You can submit it to fauxpodshow@gmail.com. That's FAUXPODSHOW at gmail.com. You can follow me at Faux Podcast on Instagram, subscribe on YouTube, and please leave a rating on like Spotify, leave comments, like like this video, give her a thumbs up if you dig it. Write in, submit your tales of horror, and remember, it's not that deep. It is not that deep, girl. Goodbye.